They threw you into the dark, expecting silence. They thought the shadows would swallow you whole. They thought the weight of their words, the sting of their betrayal, and the echo of their doubt would be enough to keep you broken. They laughed quietly when you fell. They whispered when you disappeared. They assumed that when the lights went out, you'd never return. But what they didn't know was that darkness doesn't destroy fire. It defines it. And when the world turned its back on you, you turned inward and met the version of yourself they never believed existed. Because when you lost everything, your trust, your comfort, your peace, you found something far greater. You found yourself. They never saw this version of you coming, the version that walks through fire without flinching, the version that doesn't need applause, validation, or approval, the version that was born in silence and raised in storms. They never saw the moment your pain became purpose. They never saw the nights when you sat alone, shaking, crying, gasping for air, yet refusing to surrender. They never saw the war you fought within. They thought they broke you. They thought they ended your story, but they only ended their chapter in it. They expected you to disappear quietly, to retreat, to fold, to fade into the background like a whisper no one remembers. They thought you'd be too afraid to rebuild, too fragile to rise again. But you did. Not quickly, not loudly, not easily. You rebuilt piece by piece, scar by scar, truth by truth. While they celebrated your downfall, you were learning how to fly without wings. While they spoke your name with mockery, you were rewriting it with meaning. While they waited for your end, you were crafting your beginning. Because reality has a way of humbling expectations. They expected a breakdown. You gave them evolution. They expected tears. You gave them silence. They expected surrender. You gave them rebirth. You see, they misunderstood your stillness. They thought you were stuck, but you were studying. They thought you were lost, but you were learning. They thought you were done, but you were designing. And now they don't recognize you. Your walk, your tone, your energy, everything has changed. You no longer move like someone seeking permission to exist. You move like someone who knows they belong. That's what frightens them the most. The confidence that doesn't need an audience. The peace that doesn't need validation. The strength that doesn't need noise. Because they can't manipulate peace. They can't control silence. They can't break what's already rebuilt. There was a time you would have explained yourself, a time you would have begged them to see your worth, a time you would have mistaken your empathy for weakness. That time is over. You learned that your kindness is your sword, not your leash. You learned that your love is your power, not your weakness. You learned that the same heart that feels deeply can fight fiercely. You stopped chasing closure and started creating distance. You stopped asking why and started saying watch. You stopped trying to be understood and started being undeniable. There's a certain kind of magic that happens when pain becomes your teacher. It strips you of illusion. It purifies your vision. It reminds you that nothing is permanent, not fear, not failure, not betrayal. You discovered that survival isn't about strength alone. It's about stillness. It's about endurance. It's about choosing to rise when everything inside you screams to rest. And in that quiet rebellion, you evolved. They thought your silence was defeat, but silence was your strategy. They thought your distance was weakness, but distance was your discipline. They thought your retreat was surrender, but retreat was your rebirth. Now they're confused. They whisper, what happened to them? They can't grasp that what happened for you was far greater than what happened to you. You outgrew the version of yourself that accepted less. You outgrew the spaces that drained your soul. You outgrew the people who couldn't see beyond your past. And when you outgrow your old life, it feels like destruction. But it's actually construction, the foundation of who you are becoming. Then came the turning point. The day you stopped waiting for an apology you were never going to receive. The day you realized closure isn't something they give, it's something you claim. You forgave, not because they deserved it, but because you deserved peace. You released the weight of proving yourself. You began to walk lightly, powerfully, gracefully. They saw you smile again and mistook it for pretending. They saw your calm and mistook it for indifference. They saw your boundaries and called it ego. But deep down, they knew. They knew the energy had shifted. They felt it, the way you no longer reacted, no longer engaged, no longer played their game. That's when fear set in, because they realized they no longer had power over you. Your emotions no longer answered to their chaos. Your peace no longer bowed to their drama. And that's when they started to remember who you were before they tried to break you. That's when they saw the glow again. But this time, it was untouchable. You became what they feared, a version of yourself that doesn't seek permission, a version that knows exactly who they are, a version that smiles not because life is easy, but because you are stronger than anything life can throw at you. They never saw this version coming. The version that doesn't need revenge, only mastery. The version that doesn't chase, only attracts. The version that doesn't scream, only radiates. Now they stare at you in disbelief. The same people who once looked down on you now look up to you, silently, enviously, regretfully. They wonder how you did it. They wonder how someone who was finished came back with fire in their eyes and peace in their soul. And the truth is, they don't deserve to know, because they didn't walk with you through the fire. They didn't bleed with you through the battles. They didn't rebuild with you in the dark. They were absent when you were on your knees, so they don't get access to the view from the throne. You don't owe them explanations. You don't owe them entry. You don't owe them access to the healed version of you. You are not obligated to make the broken comfortable. You are not here to dim your light for those who fear its brilliance. You are not responsible for the discomfort your growth causes. They can call you cold, distant, changed, but what you really are is awake. And once you awaken, you can't go back. You can't pretend you don't see. You can't pretend you don't know. You can't pretend you haven't become something entirely new. You've tasted your own power, and now you move differently. You've felt your own strength, and now you choose differently. You've seen who you can be, and now you demand differently. Look at you now, composed, focused, whole. You don't chase validation anymore. You attract respect. You don't react to chaos anymore. You command calm. You've become the storm and the stillness, the fire and the peace, the danger and the grace. You walk into rooms now and people feel your presence before you speak. Not because you're loud, but because your silence carries weight. Your energy speaks a language few can understand, the language of someone who's been broken and rebuilt, shattered and sharpened. They never saw it coming, how your heartbreak became your healing, how your losses became your lessons, how your solitude became your sanctuary, because you learned what most never do, that peace is power, that control isn't about domination, it's about detachment, that freedom doesn't mean having everything, it means needing nothing. You mastered the art of letting go of expectations, letting go of illusions, letting go of the need to be understood. And in doing so, you became unstoppable. You no longer fight for attention. You no longer argue to prove your side. You no longer explain your worth. You simply are. And that is the greatest transformation of all, being so rooted in yourself that even chaos can't shake you. They never saw this version of you coming, because this version doesn't seek revenge, it seeks peace. This version doesn't crave validation, it carries purpose. This version doesn't need the world needs you. Now when you wake up, you don't rush to prove, you don't chase shadows of who you were, you simply breathe, knowing that everything that tried to destroy you, built you. You walk lighter, you love deeper, you think clearer, and you smile. Not because life is perfect, but because you are free. You learned that peace is the loudest victory, that silence is the most powerful response, that walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. You learned that you don't need to shout to be heard or fight to be feared. You just need to exist fully, authentically, unapologetically. And when they see you now, grounded, calm, unbothered, they won't say a word, because deep down they know. They know they underestimated you. They know they created their own regret. They know they played themselves trying to play you. You became the very thing they said you'd never be: strong, steady, sovereign. And the beauty of it all? You don't even hate them. You don't even need to, because hate is heavy, and you're done carrying weight that isn't yours. Your victory is your peace. Your revenge is your silence. Your power is your presence. So when they whisper your name again, and they will, let them. Because your name now carries energy they can't touch. You are the calm before the storm, and the storm itself. You are the one who rose from ruins and turned pain into poetry, betrayal into wisdom, and loss into liberation. They never saw this version of you coming, the version that isn't loud but legendary, the version that isn't bitter but boundless, the version that doesn't seek revenge because it became the lesson. You are not what happened to you. You are what you became despite it. And that, my friend, is your power. So stand tall, walk slow, breathe deep, and remember this: they never saw this version of you coming, but they'll never forget it either.